Hi guys, sorry for any clutter that you may see as usual. Today I am coming to do a book haul. I went to Waterstones yesterday. It's such a joyous occasion as always, and it's kind of bulked up the books that I've recently acquired, so I thought I would just compile them together and do this video. The first section, I've got like 4 books from HMV, I want to say last month sometime, so I thought I'd just quickly show you guys those. And then I got some recently approved ARCs, e-ARCs from Netgalley, which I thought I'd talk a little bit about. And then finally I'll wrap up with my recent Waterstones purchases. So sit tight, enjoy, grab a cup of tea. I've got some lemon and ginger here, and let's get chatting. So the first book, as I said, these ones are from HMV, from my last HMV trip. I decided to finally get a classic, which is Little Women by, I feel terrible, who's actually by L.M. Alcott. So it was on, like, I don't know if it was just on a special offer or whatever, but HMV prices are quite good. But it had this strip for the movie. I really want to see the movie. I know there's like, I think 3 at this point interpretations of it, but the actual cover underneath looks very of its time, which makes me smile. Like a really nice, well kept copy of like a vintage edition or something. It feels really good. So it's funny because I don't really know a hell of a lot about what Little Women is about. I just know it's one of those classics that everybody loves. So let's see if it has any information on the back. This probably is annoying because I'm pretty sure everyone has read it at this point, but it just says here that readers have been falling for the March family for more than 150 years, and Greta Gerwig's film adaptation is bringing the childhood classic to the big screen for a new generation of fans. Illustrated throughout with movie stills from the film adaptation, written for the big screen and directed by blah 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 blah. This edition of Little Women tells the timeless story of sisters Meg, Jo, Beth and Amy as they navigate hardship and adventure in post-Civil War Concord, Massachusetts. I can't say that. Massachusetts. So yeah, honestly, it's the fact of the new film that's kind of made me want to pick it up, just because it looks like it's got a stellar cast. I don't know if it's in cinemas anymore because I think it came out for like Christmas time, but I'm pretty sure it's available to purchase now, so I'm hoping maybe this could be one of those times where I do a book versus multiple movies, just to see the difference. Elsa's going a little bit crazy because we're getting her harness trained, and we've kind of been on and off training her, but I got her this new one that fits so much better. She can't get out of it because before she like pulled her body out of one. And are you gonna come here? She's like lying down like she can't move, and she kind of just crawls and like sits there like, oh my god, what is this? But she's like comfortable in it, if that makes sense. The other one that she had before, she was like gnawing at it like she was really uncomfortable, but this one is just like, ooh, what's this? And she's like slinking across the floor. Okay, carrying on. I was happy to see this because I remember when I got like a what's it called, a email newsletter saying this was released, and it's from one of my favourite singers, and this is Kate Bush's How to Be Invisible, and it's basically just all her songs, like printed lyrics. I believe it's got a little bit about each song, or a section like written of what the lyrics meant, like where she was at that headspace, but I think for the majority of it, it is literally just the lyrics, which is a strange concept, but I thought I want more Kate Bush in my life. So it just says, selected and arranged by the author, How to Be Invisible presents the lyrics of Kate Bush for the first time. I adore Kate Bush. I really want to get like a biography or autobiography of her, because I think she's such an interesting person. I picked up another Kate Atkinson book, and I think at this point I might have 3. I think I have Transcription, what's this one? Emotionally Weird, and now I've picked up Big Sky, which I think is one of her recent releases, and I haven't read any of the other ones. I just feel like I would really enjoy her novels, and I don't even know why. I think they're like just general fiction, I guess it would come under, but it says, oh, it's a Jackson Brodie novel, so I wonder if there's more in this series perhaps that I should probably read first. But I'm just going to read the back. If you don't want to know what this says, maybe don't read it, because I don't know if it is part of the series or whatever. But it says, Jackson Brodie has relocated to a quiet seaside village in North Yorkshire in the occasional company of his recalcitrant teenage son Nathan and aging Labrador Dido, at the discretion of his former partner Julia. It's a picturesque setting, but there's something darker lurking behind the scenes. Jackson's current job, gathering proof of an unfaithful husband for a suspicious wife, seems straightforward, but a chance encounter with a desperate man on a crumbling cliff leads him across a sinister network, and back into the path of someone from his past. Old secrets and new lies intersect in the breathtaking new novel, both sharply funny and achingly sad, by one of the most dazzling and surprising writers at work today. It sounds like one of those rare times that I would read like this kind of genre, but I feel like I would enjoy it. I really do hope I'd enjoy it. I feel like this is an author that I could enjoy just because of the descriptions of the plots. They just sound like, I don't know, I feel like I might like it. I really hope I like it. And then I picked up the new book from Taron Matharu's new series, which is Contender, The Chosen. It's so annoying because I've got some of his summoner books, but I haven't read any of those yet. I think I will read those before I read this. But this is another, I think it's a YA book. I watched his vlog with Sasha Alsberg, and he was saying it's kind of like Pokemon meet, well, I can't remember the other thing that he like combined it with, but Pokemon cross something, and I was like, that sounds intriguing, let's try it out. And I saw it in HMV, or did I see these two I think I got from ASDA. Yeah, so I saw them in ASDA and I picked it up, and it's a really nice cover. He always has really cool covers. But this says, Cade Carter is lost. Convicted of a crime he didn't commit, Cade is facing a year in reform school when he finds himself suddenly transported to another realm. But this new world is no escape. Populated by bloodthirsty, prehistoric creatures and fierce warriors, Cade's surroundings are full of danger. Along with his fellow students, Cade is forced to become a contender in a deadly game of the highest stakes controlled by invisible overlords. Who are these brutal rulers, and why did they choose Cade? Before he can find answers, Cade must get ready to fight, because in this game, failure is not an option. There's that. So I'm just going to swiftly go on to the Netgalley books. There's a few that I've been approved for of late, so that's going to be cool. I'm just going to take the time to give you a little bit of a synopsis of each one. So bear with me whilst I'll just get that information for those up. And I shall hopefully place the pictures of the books just so you can see kind of what they look like, maybe if you recognise the name, and you want to know what it looks like in comparison to what I'm talking about. So this first one here is called, sorry that I'm going to be looking down at the screen quite a lot, but this first one is called Ashes by Christopher D. Vink. I think that's how you pronounce it, maybe. Sorry if I'm wrong. So this says it's a deeply touching novel about two young women whose differences, which once united them, will tear them apart forever during Hitler's Nazi occupation of Belgium and France, and it's inspired by true events. And it does this, I think this is a bit that brought me in more, but it says it's for readers of All the Light We Cannot See and The Women at Hitler's Table. All the Light We Cannot See is a book that I want to read for the longest time. Like, I'm interested in it, but every now and then other things just push it out of my way, out of my like line of sight. But I am very interested in reading that book, and I've got another sort of World War Hitler regime book, I believe, in this selection. So I've been interested in widening my reading horizons. And learn a bit more, reading some more like historical based fiction. So I'll let you know when I get to that one. So then we've also got The Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune. Some people are extraordinary, some are just extra. T.J. Klune's YA debut is a queer coming-of-age story about a fanboy with ADHD and the heroes he loves. That sounds really, really cool. And then it says Rainbow Rowell's Fangirl meets Marissa Mayer's Renegades in this debut. I really loved Fangirl. I haven't read anything by Marissa Mayer, but I've heard her Renegades series is a really good one. Then I've got How to Belong by Sarah Franklin, and it sounds like this is almost a follow-up to a different book. So it does say in the follow-up to her acclaimed novel Shelter, Sarah Franklin returns to the Forest of Dean, this time exploring what it means to belong to a rural community in a rapidly changing world. I do believe this is a non-fiction one. Let me just see if it says. So it shouldn't matter. Okay, so it says general fiction, adult, literary fiction. I don't know if it matters too much about reading the first one, but I will find out before I decide to go ahead and start this book. Then we've got Conversations with Nell. This is a book that I'm currently reading actually. It's one of those formats though that unfortunately I can't download on my Kindle, my Amazon Fire. I have to read it from my computer, so it's taken a little while because that's just hard work reading on my computer. But this one is a really strange one. Let's see if the description describes it better than I could, because it's so weird. So it says, follow the adventures of the real-life Martin family told through conversations between brighter Sarah and her wise, slightly impatient black Labrador Nell. Full of warmth and humour, join the Martin clan as they navigate life's ups and downs with the old scone along the way. And it's literally like, it looks like a script, and it's a conversation back and forth between Sarah and Nell. And Nell's the dog, and they're just talking about like little random life stuff, but it's like also a little bit of like, I would say, magical realism and like fantastical elaborations, because they're acting like these dogs can talk, and the dogs within it, there's like the rascals that the dogs in the farm they don't want to be associated with, but one of the puppies that in the Martin family is falling in love with one of them. And then there's a dog that's like part of a jazz band or something, and then they have like the Starbucks and the Wall Bark or whatever instead of like Starbucks and Walmart. And there's like, oh, I think it's Walmart. And it's like so random, and it's one of those things you'd have to like read it to be like, okay, wow. And then in between it, it's like one of the dogs is a renowned chef, and it gives you this random segment of like one of their favourite things to make or bake. And then you actually get a really nice looking picture instructional sheet of how to make this particular thing. And it's so detailed and strange. I don't know where you would have got the idea from. But yeah, I'm currently reading that at the minute, and it is a very odd experience. Then this is the other book that I was saying about. It's called Ignis's War by Svenja O'Donnell, and it says here, a story of family secrets and survival under Hitler. So it says, what does it mean to be on the wrong side of history? Svenja O'Donnell's beautiful, aloof grandmother, Igne, never spoke about the past. All her family knew was that she had grown up in a city that no longer exists on any map. I cannot pronounce that word, but it's in East Prussia. A footnote in history, a place that almost no one has heard of today. But when Svenja impulsively visits the windswept Baltic city, something unlocks in Igne, and finally she begins to tell her story. Wow, okay. Ignis War listens to the voices that are often missing from our historical narrative, those of women caught up on the wrong side of history. It is a book about memory and heritage that interrogates the legacy passed down by those who survive. It also poses the questions: who do we allow to tell their story? What do we mean by family? And what will we do in order to survive? So that's really interesting that it's taken it from the other perspective. You get a lot of the sort of survivor stories and stuff like that. So that'd be interesting to read from that point of view. Then we've got one called Very Nearly Normal by Hannah Sunderland, and this is one of those books that I wouldn't generally read on the daily. It's romance, like women's fiction, and every now and then I have a taste for some of those. So it says, from a dazzling new talent in women's fiction comes a swimmingly beautiful love story with a little twist in the tale. Effie's not perfect, neither is Theo, but together they're pretty close. Matilda Heaton, who's Effie, has always felt like she's swimming against the tide. Everyone around her has their life sorted, but Effie's living with her parents and crying into a wine bottle at night. The only thing she loves is her job at a bookshop, where she can lose herself in other people's stories, and that was the bit that kind of fixed me. I was like, I want to know more. But then she meets Theo, who knows only too well that life isn't something to take for granted, because Theo has a life-changing secret, and as Effie starts to realise that she's falling in love instead of falling apart, fate steps in and deals her a new hand, and this time the stakes are higher. And it says, a gorgeous, heartbreaking read for fans of Jojo Moyes and Gal Honeyman. I've never read from any of those, but recently one of my work colleagues was like, please, you need to see and read Me Before You. And I was like, oh, you know what? You're saying the performance of Emilia Clarke in Me Before You is amazing, or whatever the book's called. So I kind of do want to do that, but I also would want to read the book first. So we'll see. Maybe that's on the horizons soon. Then we've got another book here called Surrender Your Sons by Adam Sass. This comes under LGBTQIA, teens and YA. And it says here that Connor Major's summer break is turned into a nightmare. His SAT scores bombed, the old man he delivers meals to died, and when he came out to his religious zealot mother, she had him kidnapped and shipped off to a secluded island. His final destination, Nightlight Ministries, a conversion therapy camp that will be his new home until he changes. Intense. But Connor's troubles are only beginning. At Nightlight, everyone has something to hide, from the campers to the converted staff and the cagey camp director. And it quickly becomes clear that no one is safe. Connor plans to escape and bring the other kidnapped teens with him, but first he's exposing the camp's horrible truth of what they are, and taking this place down. This sounds like it's going to be epic, emotional, and just a whirlwind of emotions. So let's see what this book brings. Then we've got one here that sounded really intriguing because it sounded strange and a little bit confusing, and I wanted to know more, and it's called All of Us by A.F. Carter. So before I give you the synopsis, there are trigger warnings for like sexual abuse and stuff like that. Don't go into detail, it's just what's involved in this synopsis that I'm about to read to you now. It says it's described as just like general adult fiction. It says here, All of Us is a riveting thriller with 6 compelling protagonists who all share one body. Though legally she is Carolyn Grand, in practice she is Martha, a homemaker who cooks and cleans for her family, Victoria, a put-together people person, Serena, a free spirit, Kirk, a heterosexual man, Eleni, a promiscuous risk-taker, and Tina, a manifestation of what's left of Carolyn after years of childhood sexual abuse. As they jockey for control of her body, all the personalities also work together to avoid being committed to a psychiatric facility. But Carolyn's tenuous normal is shattered when Hank Grand, the man who abused her and released her out to paedophiles, is released from prison. Soon he begins stalking her, bringing back painful memories for all the personalities. This sounds like it's going to be a really strange concept. Well, not even strange, but a unique look of this kind of story. But the fact that she's got this personality split, I'm not diagnosing it or whatever, but many personalities within one body, that's going to be a very interesting way to read, because it's going to most likely be coming from different perspectives but from the same body, you know. So interesting, very interesting. Then this one I'm actually quite excited about. I really hope I get to read it in time, but this is called Misbehaviour, Miss World 1970 by Jennifer Huston, and it looks, yesterday when I went to Lakeside, I saw the cover plastered on the screen, so the film is soon to come out, if it's not already out now by the time this goes up. But it says basically how I entered a pageant and wound up making history. So from what I remember, I believe it is about the first Grenadian Caribbean woman to win Miss World. So it says 1970 was the last year of the Beatles and the first year of the supersonic Concorde, a time of new possibilities and social upheaval. And Jennifer Huston, a young airline hostess from the Caribbean island of Grenada, was as surprised as anyone to find herself in the midst of it. After winning a Miss Grenada contest, she travelled to London for the 1970 Miss World pageant and arrived at Royal Albert Hall determined to make her mark. So too did members of the fledgling women's liberation movement. They chose that globally televised moment to protest the exploitation of women. They planted bombs, stormed the hall, and chased comedian Bob Hope from the stage. By the end of the night, the world had been introduced to both radical feminism and a new ideal of feminine beauty. Miss Huston was the first woman of colour crowned Miss World. My cheeks tingled as I read that. That was just so much. Oh my god, I really, really want to read this, and I would love to see how they make the film come across, like what they do with the film. Then this one here, I think it's like a sort of cosy mystery, and it's called A Spell for Trouble by Esme Addison. I've never heard of this author before. I just saw this as I was sort of scrolling through Netgalley, and I thought, let me request it. I think it was one of the read now options, so you could instantly download it. Totally just spilt tea on my leg. Luckily it missed my top. So it says fans of Ellery Adams and Heather Blake will be charmed by Esme's new Enchanted Bay mystery series. Alexandra Daniels hasn't set foot in the quiet seaside town of Bellamy Bay, North Carolina, in over 20 years, ever since her mother's tragic death. Her father has mysteriously forbidden her from visiting her aunt and cousins, but on a whim, Alex accepts an invitation to visit her strange relatives and to help them in their family business. A herbal apothecary. Why can't I say that? A herbal apothecary. Known for its remarkably potent teas, salves, and folk melodies. Barbie Bay doesn't look like trouble, but this is a town that harbours dark secrets. Alex discovers that her own family is at the centre of salacious town gossip, and that they are rumoured to be magical healers descended from mermaids. That really excites me. I want to know how that works in this like thriller sort of way. She brushes this off as nonsense until a local is poisoned and her Aunt Lydia is arrested for the crime. Alex is certain Lydia is being framed, and she resolves to find out why. The fact that it's like a cozy mystery mixed in with like magic makes me excited, and I want to know, even if it's just a hint of like they could be, I want to know what it's about. Now this is another one of those, like, I think cozy mysteries and this is another one of those read now simple download sort of things, and it's To Kill a Mockingjay by HardcoreCupcakeHailstorm. And it says, bookbinder Quinn finds herself in trouble when her ex's fiance turns up dead and she's not careful. And if she's not careful, her days might be numbered in this debut, perfect for fans of Kate Carousel and Gates. I don't know who they are. But just to read the first little section, it says, Queen Victoria Kane is back in her quirky town of Vienna, Virginia, starting her new life as a bookbinder in her family-owned Charm for Days bookshop, Prose and Scones. With her trusty German shepherd, Rough Barker, by her side, what can go wrong? Okay, sure, bumping into her ex-Scott or a former high school nemesis, Trisha, is a drag. It certainly doesn't help they have acquired this new hobby of shoving their recent engagement in her face at every chance they get. But that doesn't mean Quinn wanted to find Trisha dead in the road. So why does half the town think she may have done it? I realised now earlier I said her ex-fiancé, but it's her ex's fiancé. This just sounds like one of those quiet ones I could read, you know, one quiet day. Now this one I'm really interested as well, and I thought I recognised the name of the author of The Extraordinaries because I requested this other book by this author. And it says The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. So I believe this is a middle grade. I think it's middle grade, but it's also listed as just sci-fi and fantasy. And it says, okay, yeah, it's a contemporary fantasy, okay. So Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth. He's tasked with determining whether 6 dangerous magical children are likely to bring about the end of the world. Arthur Parnassus is the master of the orphanage. He would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world will burn and his secrets will come to light. It's an enchanting love story, masterfully told, about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realising that family is yours. Sounds amazing. So this is what really excited me as well. It's like the tagline, 1984, which I recently read and really adored, meets The Umbrella Academy, which I've watched the TV show and I'm waiting for the new season to come out and absolutely loved, and a pinch of Douglas Adams thrown in, which I freaking adore, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So yeah, I'm really excited on seeing what that's about. Hopefully enjoying it. So we're coming to the end of the Netgalley books now. So this second to last one is The Milkman's Son by Randy Lindsay, and this is biography and memories. So it says, raised in a family he bore little resemblance to, Randy was jokingly referred to as the milkman's son. The warm and candid memoir chronicles the unravelling of a family secret, which begins with Randy's dad having dreams about deceased relatives urging him to complete their family tree. Randy agrees to help him with the genealogy, but after his searching leads to a dead end, he takes a commercially available DNA test. The results reveal a possible genetic match to a sister, which begins a familial quest that forever changes the author's life. This sounds like it's going to be crazy, like, wow. And then we've got the last book from Netgalley that I've been approved for of late. It's The Power of Three by Kathy Parker. It says, the novel of a wow, a woman and an alien child, and it's apparently book 1 in the Power Rising series, trilogy. I'm not too sure how many books are going to be a part of this series. But it says here, an alien child catapults by sheer chance to Earth. A beluga wow longs for freedom by the cruel confines of a small blue pool, and 2 powerful otherworldly beings seek to plunder our world, destroying our people and our resources. In this fast-paced science fiction thrill ride, it falls to the fiercely independent bystander, Shannon, attorney and sea aquarium volunteer, to return the child Essie to her world, to find a way to free the desperate beluga Juneo, to defeat the ancient aliens. On the upside of the arrival of Essie, Shannon is startled to find not only does her physical appearance change dramatically, but she now possesses useful near-magical traits to help her with barriers that appear insurmountable. This sounds like one of those crazy books that a lot is going on, so it could either go really well and be like, wow, this is an amazing sci-fi adventure, or it could be like, hold on, this is too overwhelming and there's too much going on and nothing is fleshed out. So hopefully it's the first of those either ors, and we shall see. So we're going to wrap up now with the books that I got yesterday at Lakeside in Waterstones, and I love the fact that they've now got paper bags, because look how gorgeous they are. They're saving our planet and they're going out in style. And I got quite a few books, but let's start with the non-book item. I couldn't resist these. So I recently got some magnetic bookmarks when I went to the Harry Potter studios, and it was like my Ravenclaw house ones, and so I was like kind of also on the hunt for more magnetic bookmarks because I feel like I've fallen in love with them. And when I saw these cool cat magnetic bookmarks, I was like, yes, I need them in my life. And it's just got like all these cat breeds, and they all look so sassy and cute, and I absolutely adore them. So hopefully you can see them there. So on with the books. I have got quite a few, and I'm excited for all of them. So this is the next book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series, and this is, oh, it's got bonus content, oh, exciting. It is The Conference of the Birds by Ransom Riggs. I really hoped I'd be able to go to a another book talk, because I went when he released the book prior to this, and it was such a cool experience. I really wanted to, and I was kind of loosely looking online to see if Waterstones in Oxford Street were doing it again, but I didn't see anything, and then other things came up. But this is just following on the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children story. The book has definitely expanded way more than I think any of us expected. I think originally it was sold to be a trilogy, and then more books came out. So I think if you're going into this series not knowing how many, I want you to know that there's more than you would expect, because my cousin Ebony, I think she read, I want to say she either read the first book or half of the first book, and then she put it down, and then by the time she was picking it back up again, she kind of lost interest, and then she said this book was, the world was sort of expanding too many, and she didn't really want to read a big series like that. So go into it knowing that there's more than 3 books now, and I think there will be a few more. I think maybe 6 at the minimum. And I had to pick up the latest Sarah J Maas book. I'm recording a video. I can't talk now, you're watching me. You can still talk, you know, I can just edit it out. What did you say, you're going in 10 minutes? You're such a weirdo. Oh, yeah. And this is Crescent City by Sarah J Maas, and it's new in a series. I think it's an adult fantasy series, and I don't know a lot about it, and I kind of want to leave it that way just because I feel like I want to catch up on her current series at the minute, just so the writing, like, I'm assuming current stuff is going to be the best writing, so I don't want it to be the case where I read the newest stuff and then I go back and I'm like, oh, the writing sucks, do you know what I mean? So nice red sprayed edges, can't wait to dive into that when I eventually catch up. Then I got the next 2, I think, shut up, I think there's 4 out or something, I don't know if it's finished, but the next 2 in the Heartstopper series, which is volume 2 and volume 3 by Alice Osman, and I recently read the first one, which you can watch in my wrap up review for February, and that explains a little bit about it. And then the last book I got that I'm super excited for is a middle grade book, and it's a sequel to A Pinch of Magic, and this is A Sprinkle of Sorcery by Michelle Harrison. Noisy much. And it is about 3 sisters that go on like this magical magical adventure, with like a prison break and like hiding secrets from their kind of strict granny, and it's so cool, and the covers look awesome together. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know the books that you've been buying of late. I'll speak to you in another video soon. Bye. Close, it starts to end up on the